Hey guys, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Mike.
This is the Disney for Couples podcast. It's your hub of information about traveling to the Disney parks or going on a Disney cruise. As adult couples, we don't talk about stroller parking, baby bags, height requirements.
Lollipops being held by children.
I love lollipops.
I notice I said being held by children. I
Sure.
would never take that from you.
Because why, Mike? Because
Disney really isn't a place for
You're gonna nail the tagline one of these days. Disney is no place for kids.
That's right.
But before we get into Disney, what did we do today, Mike?
We went on a train ride, a slow, dirty train ride to nowhere.
We went on a fall foliage train ride that had no foliage.
Correct.
Because we couldn't, how would we have known that it would have been past the peak season?
That part of New York has already hit.
But that does not explain why the train was not very clean.
Right.
And it wasn't, we just got off the Disney cruise and went to Disney World. So we have like higher than high expectations. And the train completely missed them.
Yep.
And
we zoomed our butts there.
We got there by the skin of our teeth.
Yep.
We were running late.
Yep.
And then we got into our special seating area because we paid the bigger bucks for the better seating.
Right.
Which was the only good part of the whole experience was that we had comfortable seats.
Yeah.
The train was too hot. It was kind of dirty.
Yep.
The windows had not been cleaned, which is ridiculous because that's
why you're there.
That's your viewing.
Right.
But the whole
that's
point is to go on a foliage sightseeing thing. Yeah, it was a big dud, but we ended up realizing we were near one of our favorite restaurants. So on the way back, we went to a really nice dinner. And it was a beautiful day. It just wasn't wasn't a good trip.
It wasn't what we were expecting.
It was not a good trip, which is in stark contrast to the Disney cruise we just got back from, which we absolutely head over heels loved, are mourning not being on anymore, and cannot wait to get back.
Right.
So That's what we're talking about today.
It's all about the Disney cruise.
So let's start with the basics. We just got back. We've been home for about a week, and I'm just getting over being sick because me and a bunch of other people got sick. Yeah. But not some like crazy, horrible, thing that spread. It was just like a cold.
Bad head
cold.
It
was just like a nasty cold, which, every single person was coughing.
Right.
Because
that's what you do.
It's people.
When you're in Disney.
Yep. They were also coughing on the airplane and in the hotel and everywhere people were.
Yep.
But besides that, let's just talk about the basics of what we did. We went on the Disney Treasure.
Yep.
Which is the newest cruise ship that's currently sailing because they're already planning the next one. But it's
the Adventure.
Right. We left from Port Canaveral in Florida. It was a 7-night, 8-day. The 8th day was really just breakfast and get off the ship.
Yep.
But 7-night cruise. It was a Halloween themed cruise, and we went to the Caribbean with stops in Tortola, St. Thomas, and Castaway Cay, which is Disney's island. And the rest of the time, except for those 3 stops, we were on the ship.
Right.
So tell everybody what the experience was like getting from the airport to the ship. Because we flew into MCO the day before from New York, stayed overnight at an airport hotel room.
Yep.
And then from there got to the ship.
It was a Hyatt hotel built right into MCO. And they had an arrangement with Disney Cruise Line where the day the ship was due to leave, they had a shuttle service that went from the hotel that brought all of the Disney Cruise Line passengers to Port Canaveral. It was very well organized.
It just couldn't have been easier. They made it so easy. In the morning, we put our suitcases that we didn't want to take with us. So we had 2 big pieces of luggage, and then we each had smaller day bags. Our luggage we left in the room. It didn't really matter about checkout time or anything like that. You just leave your luggage in the room with the Disney Cruise Line luggage tags on them. We went downstairs to the lobby to check in. They are like Mike said, super organized. It was really efficient. We waited for like a little
a
while,
long
but
time.
that wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
We had already had breakfast and had our coffee and everything.
And we went down to the shuttles in groups.
Yep. And then we just, really even from the second you're there, they're like very Disney. It's just like,
yes, right
welcome
away.
to the cruise. And even like the things that you get to wait online are like Disney characters. It's like, okay, you're in group Chip and Dale.
Yep.
And then you get on the bus. They played, what were they playing on the bus? They played a Disney. Did they play Disney shorts?
Yeah, I think they were playing those like the mid 2010s, like those Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, it's
shorts.
like a nice Disney shuttle bus.
Yep.
That they your luggage is you're just done. Like all you have to do, we didn't even have to take our day luggage on the bus with us. They like put it underneath for us.
Yeah.
And then it was so fast. We got to the port.
Yep.
And we like went in and got online, and then they were calling our group, and we were like, it was like we blinked and we were on the ship.
We were at that like terminal for all of 10 minutes.
Yeah, the longest wait was at the hotel.
Yep.
But that just wasn't a big deal. It was like in a conference room. We were just waiting to be called. And then it was just like, boom, we were like walking in, they announce you, and you're on the ship, and you just like do what you want until the room is ready.
Right. And even the room was very quickly prepared. We were only on the ship for under an hour before. Did they make an announcement that the rooms were ready?
I think you heard an announcement, but we like
yeah.
got on the ship, walked around a little bit, went up to eat.
Yep.
And then by the time we like walked inside and walked down a level to our floor, it was like done.
Yeah.
And then that was it. It
right.
really was. And we'll talk about it at the end, but disembarking was as easy. It was just so easy, the whole thing.
Totally.
So let's talk about the room. So we had, we wanted, this was our first cruise, and we just did not want to like, we didn't really know if we were going to like cruising. So it didn't really matter to us if we had a basic room or a room with a patio, or it just didn't matter because we really had no idea what any of it was going to be like. So we just went as basic as you can get for the room, and we got what they call an interior
stateroom.
Yep. Which is like the smallest, most basic room you could have. There wasn't even a window. There wasn't even a fake window. Sometimes in those rooms they have those like fake
like
portholes.
We were watching the Dream coverage the other night, and they have the digital porthole. Well, not. I think it's a camera view.
Yeah, we didn't have that, and before we went, the thing that I was a little nervous about was the room. I was thinking, God, if it's just so small and we're so like crammed in and feel claustrophobic, like, I don't know how much time we're going to spend in the room. Is it going to kind of ruin the trip for us? And we were, from the second I looked into the room, I was just so pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, me too. And we had watched YouTube videos and had a somewhat of an idea of what we were walking into. Or I think we had seen photos too online, but yeah, when we opened the door and looked in, it was 30. I mean, it already looked nice previously, and it was like 30% better right off the bat
than what you thought it was going to be.
I mean, it was just from top to bottom a small space, but one so well adorned and so efficiently kept together, put together, that you had everything that you needed. Great lighting, excellent storage. Our bathroom wasn't one that the toilet was separate.
There wasn't like a water closet. It was all in one place.
But it was, plenty. There was plenty of space in there.
Yeah, beautiful shower.
Yep.
It wasn't like a tiny nothing shower. It was beautiful. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
They really did something with those small rooms. They were so smart about them because it was small, but the little space that you have, they used it so well. The bed was back against the back wall.
So when you open the door,
facing you and the headboard on the back wall, which is how you set up a room for space. That's like how you do it. So and then it was sectioned off with
a curtain divider.
And It just was really well laid out for having limited space.
They had enough room. I mean, we had walking space in the room and enough room for a full couch. It was like a 2-seater couch.
Yeah, a little love seat.
Yep.
And then that little desk.
With a pull-out bed built into it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even remember that.
Yep.
And there was like a desk at the vanity.
Right. The TV, I think it was a 55-inch, was like side mounted. Like there wasn't a place to mount it to at the end of the bed, so it was up against the wall, but it was on a full motion bracket, so it could turn out toward the couch.
Yeah, and the bed was queen size bed, very comfortable. Like where it mattered, it was perfect.
Yep.
And the lighting, I think the lighting is what made it so cozy.
Oh,
that
so
and
nice.
that throw blanket that I wish I had I wish I had been able to take home. That was such a great throw blanket. But the lighting, there were so many different lights in the room, and they were all adjustable. So it just added to it was truly the coziest. I'm going to call it a hotel room that we've ever stayed in. It was the only, we love our apartment at home. Well, we love being at home in our apartment. It's a really cozy space. Whenever we travel, we really miss that. This was the only time that we've traveled that I was completely happy in the room. It just felt like an extension of the coziness we feel at home.
Absolutely.
Plus, we have to give a shout out to our
Mr. John.
Mr. John.
I thought you were talking about the cuties across the hall.
Oh, you mean the cuties, the decorations, not the people.
Right.
No, not yet. Gede. Our room attendant.
Shout out to Mr. Gede.
Our room attendant we loved him. He was great. He did all of our
towel art.
Yeah, our towel and blanket art every night, which was cute. And he just was, I mean, I really don't think at any point there was a crumb on the ground. I don't think there was a piece of hair on the floor. Like there was just nothing. It looked perfectly like nobody had been in there every time we came back, because you get room attendance twice
per day. And even when we went to like Tortola and we got sandy, and when we came back and tracked sand into the room,
I would have never known.
I immediately tracked sand onto the bed, into the bathroom, and it was spotless by the time he had gone through when we were having dinner.
Yeah, and they're so nice. Like even the guys who worked in our hallway that weren't attending our room, we started to know who they were because they were just so friendly. This is probably a good time to mention the crew on the ship were the kindest, friendliest, most attentive, most helpful. If you think Disney World service is good,
they put the park cast members to shame.
I know, and the park is, a pillar of excellence compared to a lot of other places, but really the people who run the cruise should go and manage the parks, because it was even better.
Impeccable.
Yeah, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So tell everybody about our neighbors across the hallway who we didn't meet until the last day.
Yeah, so as part of Disney cruising, it's common that people will decorate the doors of their staterooms in keeping with whatever the theme of the cruises or whatever the seasonal event would be
or just cruising in general.
Yeah, but for our cruise, we were on the Halloween on the High Seas cruise, so most folks decorated for Halloween. The family across from us had decorated their door to be themed after Muppet's Haunted Mansion, and they had all of this incredible artwork that they had self-made, and two of our favorite ornaments that they had were Muppet ghosts from the Muppets Haunted Mansion that they had handmade, and they were so adorable, and we basically worshipped them while we were on that cruise. Every day we would pass by and we'd say hi to the Muppet ghosts.
The Muppet Haunted Mansion is one of our favorite things to watch. We've seen it a few times, and the Muppet ghosts, we're Muppet fans. We're Jim Henson fans on top of Disney fans and Haunted Mansion fans, and the Muppet ghosts from that special are my absolute favorite Muppets ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we were setting up the room, and I went to check something in the hallway.
You scared me.
I know, because I gasped. And I looked across the hallway, and they had already decorated their door.
I know, people did it so fast.
Yeah, and I went,
audibly
and
gasped.
you thought somebody was like dead in the hallway. And I was like, you have to come out here and see this, because they had two ghosts hanging, not like cutouts, or they had cutouts too, but they had two Muppet ghosts hanging. And for the whole trip, we just we stood in front of that door because they had stuff from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And we just loved it. It was like our little corner of the ship for us, because we just are such huge fans.
But also too, it really felt like our hub, because we were staying on deck 10, and deck 10 had two hallways, and the hallway rooms all went out to a veranda. So, the people staying in those rooms had the ocean view. We didn't, but because we were like not in a hallway, like we were on the U part that connected
we were at the
both
very
hallways.
End.
Yeah.
So there really wasn't people walking past our door.
Right.
Because you would leave and go one way or the other. So for the whole trip, every time we would come back to the room or leave the room, I would say, I want to see who's staying there, because I want to tell them how much I love the door. And we just never, ever crossed paths. So on the second to last day, when we were like getting ready to, say goodbye to our friends who we were dining with and the servers who took care of us, I wrote a little note to the people across the hallway, and I left it on the door just saying like, we just want you to know how much like joy your door brought us, because we're such huge fans. And I mentioned the Muppet Ghosts. So later that day, we were in the room. Our friend Kyle, who we met on the ship, was stopping in because he wanted to see what one of the smaller rooms looked like.
Yeah.
And the door was still kind of half open, and this guy walks by who we had never seen before.
Enter John.
And his name was John. Yep. And he said, I just wanted to thank you for that. Like, I don't remember. He said like that sweet note you left or something. Yeah. And he had the Muppet Ghost, and he said, I want to give them to you.
And we freaked out.
We were like shrieking. We were like, get out of here. So. Yep.
Now we are the proud owner of two very cute Muppet Ghosts.
It was such a sweet gesture. That guy will never know how much we appreciated that. That was just so sweet. Such a great story, and just such a sweet thing to happen. They're hanging in our office. We went to a hotel after the cruise. We hung them in the hotel. They're like the mascots of our house. Problem. We absolutely love them.
Yep.
But speaking of Kyle, Caitlin and Kyle, who are two of our new friends that we met on the ship. We'll talk a little more about like the rotational dining and how we were sitting with the same people every night later. But we got to see their room too, and they had a different room than us. They had a bigger room with their own patio, which was lovely.
I said veranda.
I don't, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I'm wrong.
It was lovely, and it was just, they had more of everything. They had more space. They had a water closet, and then the shower room, which was nice. They had more storage. Like they had like 2 closets, I think, instead of 1. They just had a bigger space.
Yeah.
They just had more, and it really was lovely. And I mean, I missed, when I saw their porch, I thought, God, this would be nice to sit on every morning. And at the same time, we were also like perfectly happy in our room.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the room. Let's see. Okay. So now that we've talked about the room, let's talk about the ship.
Yeah.
The beautiful ship. I miss walking around that ship. When I'm home thinking about the cruise and I think about missing it, I actually think about missing the hallways.
Yeah.
Not the hallways where the rooms were, but the stairwells. Like even the carpeting was pretty. The floors were pretty. The ceilings, the lighting.
They had brilliant artwork everywhere.
They had incredible art everywhere on the ship, but also every time you got to a different landing as you were going up and down the decks, there was like a wall of art. It really just was every single thing. Even the elevators were great. Like I even miss the elevators.
I know. Mickey and Minnie would announce the floors and the doors opening and closing.
So now every time we got on an elevator, we do it.
Doors opening.
Okay, so let's see. What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about let's not talk about the bars yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about the shows, because we actually didn't experience, we like peeked into the movie theaters. So there's 2 movie theaters on deck. On board. they played movies all day long. We weren't really interested in any of the movies.
Yeah.
But we did go to the Walt Disney Theater twice to see the stage shows.
We saw the live staged production of Moana, and we also saw Beauty and the Beast, both of which were very good. And I think that we both think the Beauty and the Beast one was better.
Yeah, I thought it was significantly better. It's also a better show. But
insane production quality for both shows. They kept saying Broadway quality, and they were right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from New York. I've been to a lot of Broadway shows. So when they say like Broadway quality, like Broadway level, I was kind of thinking like,
okay,
maybe.
Yeah.
And the Moana show was kind of like that. It was like, maybe off Broadway quality. But I thought the Beauty and the Beast show really, really could stand next to a Broadway show.
Yeah, especially
it was great.
I was thinking too just now that they are so gung-ho about projection technology in the parks. They had amazing projection tech for both shows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great costuming.
Oh, yeah.
Talented actors.
Good singers.
Great sets.
Yep.
Great props and puppets and, and like in the Beauty and the Beast show when they were doing the wolves.
Yeah.
And they had those like puppeted wolves that were almost like costumes that they were wearing,
Very cool.
But puppeting. It was really just great. And it was a beautiful theater. Yeah, I wish that there was a movie we liked more, because really at any point you could have just popped into one of the movie theaters and there was probably something playing.
And they had the Funnel Vision Theater, so the main deck of the ship, deck 11, which is where they have a lot of the pools, that's where you go to get on the Aquamouse, that's where you go to get to the adult only section, the kid friendly section. They have the bars up there too, but they have a huge screen, like a video, like a regular video screen, that they would use for the performances that they'd put on deck 11, but they would also show movies every night.
Yeah.
And when I would go up to get us like a cup of soda or something, and they'd be playing a movie, the sound was amazing too.
Yeah, that was an enormous screen.
Yes.
And it was fun, really, anywhere you were, as long as you were facing the screen up when you were outside, you could kind of see it. So sometimes we'd just be lounging and you're like watching part of a movie or something.
Yeah.
And
yep.
At night, sometimes they would do movies that were a little bit more adult,
right.
like they had Star Wars one night.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had them all day. Well, that's a good segue. We can talk about like the outdoor part of the of the ship. I was so surprised. One of our first nights when we played trivia, by the way, they had trivia multiple times a day all over the ship.
Yes.
One of the nice things about being on a cruise is because you've already paid for it. If you want to sit down at a bar to do trivia, they don't care if you don't order anything.
Right.
It's not like you feel obligated to order something. They served your water to you just as nicely as they served my cocktail.
Oh, yeah.
Like it just didn't matter. So there's trivia all day long, all different kinds. It's super fun. We had a lot of fun playing it. It was great to kind of fill in the gaps. If it was like, we have 45 minutes to dinner, what do we want to do? There was probably trivia somewhere.
And there not just trivia, they had events all day.
Yep, and they had bingo, and they had dance parties, and they had a million different things for all ages too.
Yes.
So when you go on deck, when you go outside, we were really lucky because we were on floor 10. And the dining and like the outdoor area was one deck up.
The main deck. Yep.
So we never had to get on an elevator to go to all that stuff.
Yep.
So there's like a lot of pools. There's a lot of little pools.
Yeah, and I was surprised by that.
And I'm sorry not to interrupt you. I just remembered what I was starting to say when I started talking about trivia. When we had trivia one night, the night that woman and her mother-in-law came over to join us to make a team, I did not realize that some people go on cruises and like don't care about going outside. Like not even getting off the ship, like literally going outside. She was like, yeah, we don't care about that. And for me, half of the trip was like being outside and being in the sun and stuff. But I understand why. There's plenty to do.
Yeah, I can dig that.
I could you probably would have been happy staying inside.
I could be on deck 1 with the engine room and everything.
So the outdoor area was a few different levels, a bunch of little pools. Were you saying you were surprised by that?
Yeah, I was surprised that the pools were as small as they were, and we only used the adult only pool, and I mean that was small, but like it didn't bother me. I was just surprised by it.
There weren't that many people in the pools. They weren't swimming. You can swim lap pools. They were like
pools.
Cool, right?
Right.
The adults only area had really nice seating. It had like really nice
lounge,
cushiony lounge chairs.
Yeah.
It had those big like roundish beds almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a jacuzzi, and it had that little like cool off area where you would sit and you would just put your feet in the pool, but what you were sitting on also had water
flowing.
So you could and then it had like there was a pool with that kind of faux edge where it looks like there's nothing between you.
Yeah, you're like looking out over the ocean.
Yeah, and everything is a view of the ocean. There was, I think you mentioned the Aqua Mouse, which was the water slide.
Yep.
But it's more like a ride.
Yeah, somewhere it's like halfway between a true like Disney park attraction and like a water park attraction.
It was really cute. You go through this like tunnel and there's like a story that you're following, and there's the Mickey cartoons, like the newer style Mickey shorts playing. And we didn't realize it until we were talking to, I think, Caitlin and Kyle, that you get different.
Everyone gets a different story.
Yeah, there's like multiple stories that they show. So like they got a different story than we did. That was a lot of fun. It was kind of like being on a Disney ride. It was like being on a Disney ride at a water park.
Yep.
What else was outside? Oh, the food, but we'll get to the food later.
Yeah.
Bars. There were bars outside.
I mentioned that.
There was also that like VIP area for the people who pay for the really expensive rooms that when you and I were just kind of exploring one night, we saw it and it was lovely.
Mm-hmm.
It was like all covered. It was its own part of the deck. Yeah, we didn't spend, we were out there every day that the weather was nice, but it was extremely hot and muggy a lot of the time. So we were like out there enough for me, but probably less than I would have said we would be before we left, especially the first day when there was a sail away party. I mean, I don't think I've ever been that hot.
That was really hot.
Yeah.
It was nice though. Once the ship was moving, there was always a slight breeze or a very intense breeze.
Yeah.
Depending on where you were sitting.
Yeah. I don't remember being uncomfortable out because some of the time you would eat out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved being up there. So what else? What did we miss? There was an ice cream shop.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about the free food later, like the food that was included, but the like bars were not included, and the ice cream shop wasn't included. The ice cream shop was super cute. It looked like Zootopia.
Yeah.
It looked like you were the size of an animal because everything was big. Really cute. We got ice cream a couple times from there. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
What about the bars? Tell everybody about the different bars that we went to.
So on deck 3, I believe there was the Skipper Society, which is kind of like one of the main attractions of deck 3 between like all the shops and whatnot. And
yeah, it was like an open air bar.
Yeah, nice loungy seating. That's where trivia was a lot of the time. They had really cool. It was like Jungle Cruise themed.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise themed.
Yeah, so they had a lot of cool kind of call outs to the ride and to the lore of the ride. And then right across from Skipper Society was the reason that we booked the trip in the first place, the Haunted Mansion Parlor, which was phenomenal.
Incredible. It was so great. We went 3 times.
Yes.
It just was like, we'd watched like YouTubes of it, and that's why we booked the trip, really, was for that bar. It's the only place you could go to that bar. And we watched YouTube videos of it, and it still didn't
quite capture.
Yeah, couldn't get the feel of what it was
really like
to be there. It was like if you stepped off the ride and got to live in the world of the ride. It was just excellent.
You know what there was so much going on, from lighting to projection to sound. But I would love it seemed like every 45 minutes, because we'd be in there for like an hour and a half, and it seemed like every about 45 minutes, it would like all go back to normal. Like, see, there's nothing wrong here. And then it would slowly descend into madness again. It was awesome.
Yep. The lights would flicker. The windows would look like it was storming outside. That there was lightning, just like on the ride.
Yep.
Things would appear in the mirror, like the hitchhiking ghosts and
the portraits would change.
Yep,
on the walls.
Madame Leota would come up in the mirror. The characters from the ride. The portraits would change like they do at the beginning of the ride, but they would also sing.
Yeah.
The aquarium had ghost fish. All of the drinks were themed. Like everybody who worked there was dressed like the cast members from the ride. You would just be like sitting there and the thing next to you would start knocking. So some of the effects were really subtle where you could only experience them if you were in certain parts of the parlor, but some of them were like everybody would experience them. It was just so great. I wish they had that at the park, but it's also so special that it's just on the ship. And
it's also technically, I think it's also on the Dream. No, or the Wish.
New one that's coming out.
No. The Wish, which came out before the Treasure, I believe. I think the Treasure is the sister to the Wish, and on the Wish they have the Star Wars bar place that if you look at Parlor and the Star Wars bar side by side, it's like almost the same blueprint, but all the theming's different.
Yeah, it's almost like the same ship.
But
But instead of the Haunted Mansion, it's a Star Wars bar, and instead of Jungle Cruise, it's it's decorated like Tiana,
Princess and the Frog. I thought it was at a restaurant.
No, I think that's I think that's what's decorated, like kind of like that, like the Bayou. It's like the Bayou.
And there's another that I had mentioned earlier. The Adventure is coming out. That's the ship that's going to be based in Asia, I believe, because it does cruising from Singapore to like Vietnam and whatnot. But they're also coming out with another ship in this fleet, the Destiny.
And that's going to have the Haunted Mansion bar. Something that's coming out was also going to have the Haunted Mansion bar.
Right.
What were the other places on the ship? There was the bar we never went into, the Scat Cat Cafe, which looked really cool.
It was cool. Yeah.
But we just never got there.
The Periscope Pub
we went to a couple times. That was some of the best food I had on the ship, honestly. That was like the adults only sports bar, I think. It was cool.
There were kids in there though.
Were there? I think there was that kid who came in with the dad and then they like left right away. Well, some of the places were adults only after a certain time.
Yep.
Maybe that was one of them.
Maybe.
But yeah, we went in. They had good drinks. They had really good food. There was one night that we skipped dinner.
Yeah.
And we went there instead, and we just got like bar snacks for dinner, but they were actually delicious.
Yeah, it was good.
The theming was what, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Yes.
And it was cool. It had a faux ceiling where it looked like you were looking up at the ocean with like
underwater.
Yeah. That was cool. What else? Am I missing anything? Any of the bars?
They had those two little, like, they weren't really bars, but those cafes.
Oh, the coffee shops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are cute.
Yeah. The
Hey Cafe.
And then the Jade one themed after Mulan. And then they also had...
Those are very pretty. Those, bars.
And then they also had, on deck 11, they had, like, an espresso bar.
Yeah, like so you could get, like, a special coffee.
And then the Cove on... deck 12, 13, something like that.
It was like outside by the pool. It was by the adults pool.
Yep. That was cool.
Yeah, they were all great. We really ended up going to all of them at some point, pretty much, except for Scat Cat Cafe, because it was always like, is it there or Haunted Mansion? If we were gonna go to a bar at night, it was gonna be the Haunted Mansion.
And we could see into Scat Cat, so it was like, okay, that's enough. We
like experienced it. Yeah. I really ended up liking the Jungle Cruise bar much more than I thought. Like, I thought it was cool looking when we would watch the videos before we went on the ship, but it was just so comfy. Like, it was in the middle of the floor and it was all open, so you would just be walking by it like when you were going shopping, and there'd be a band, and it was just like really easy to go to. You would just like grab a seat or go to the bar, and like there was just nothing to it. There wasn't even like a door to open. It was just there.
Yeah, I
really liked it. I wish we could have gotten one of those corner tables with the parrot chandelier.
I also liked the juxtaposition to Mansion, because I think you can go into the Haunted Mansion Parlor pretty much at any point in the day, but if it's a dead time of the day where no one's hanging out at the bar, it looks like abandoned. Like, it looks creepily abandoned because the door is shut and it's got that very imposing, like, Haunted Mansion styling. So you have to, like, open the door and poke your head in to think, like, oh, can I go in? And, like, and then you can, of course, but...
Yeah, we stumbled upon it. We were just walking around the ship that first day, and we were like, oh, it's right there. It's a little entryway. It's like a little doorway. And then there's almost like the size of a closet, like an entryway that's decorated like, like the ride. And as you're leaving, actually, the girl from the ride does the
little Leota, hurry back.
Yeah. And then you open a door that like is, I mean, there's not a window on it or anything. So you're just like, is it open?
Yeah.
And then you go in. So it's almost like secret, which I really liked it like that.
Yeah.
Okay, shopping.
Do it.
Talk about the I mean, there's a handful of shopping on board. There was like the Pandora shop that had some of the nicer like Disney cruise clothing and things like that.
Yep. Then they had the very upscale jewelry shops.
They had a few very upscale jewelry shops and watch shops and stuff like that.
And the flagship store was Mickey's main sale.
Yeah, which is just kind of like going into like
the Emporium.
I mean, I think of it as if you, like any kind of gift shop in Disney World, or maybe like a gift shop at a resort where there's like a few different sections.
That's a better example, like a hotel gift shop.
Because you could get your toiletries there if you forgot anything, and there were some snacks, and then there would be like the section with stuffed animals, and then the section with like pins, and then clothing, and we ended up in there a lot because we would get souvenirs for people and stuff like that. So
that was a great store.
Yeah, that was nice to have on the ship. There wasn't as much shopping on the ship as I had actually expected, which I liked because it was like we kind of got to know the different places. And like the first day we went to all of the stores and kind of took stock of the stuff we were interested in. And then like by the end of the trip, we went back and I did like a little Christmas shopping for people on board. So we were able to, it wasn't like an overwhelming amount.
Yeah.
Some of these cruise ships have like tons of stores.
Like a mall on a ship. Yeah.
And it wasn't like that. So it was,
and that's funny to say about Disney.
I know.
It had a very manageable amount of shopping.
I know. Imagine that. It's like the only time I could ever say that.
Yep.
Okay. So what we have left to talk about is dining, which is a lot to talk about because there's a lot of dining options, our excursions, and disembarking.
Yep.
But we're going to save that for part 2.
Yes.
Which will come out in
Next
a week.
Yep.
And before we go, tell me one thing that you really loved about the trip, and then I'll tell you one thing that I really loved about the trip.
Here comes Basic Mike. I really enjoyed not having a great internet connection so that I could focus on reading my George Lucas biography.
Yeah, we read a lot on this trip.
Seriously though, like it was so nice to be able to hone in on a book I was holding because the internet was worse than dial-up.
I know. I had, this isn't my official thing that I loved, but I had the same experience. I want to read far more than I actually read. And the number of times that we had in between time or relaxation time, and I would grab a book. I mean, I read 2 books on a 7-day trip. So that's, I read a lot, and it was great. I've been trying to like keep up that habit since we've been back. But my favorite,
what's yours?
My favorite thing is I never expected this to be part of a Disney cruise. I just didn't think of the people part of the cruise. I thought of it like going to the park where you're like, you go to the park, it's me and you. It's like me and you going to the park. And sometimes you chat with people and like sometimes you don't. I had no clue how community-based a Disney cruise was.
And I would argue it's like community based only around the dinner experience, which we'll get into more in the next episode. But we were so fortunate that we were sat with 2 other couples, and we all got along so well.
Well, see, I don't feel like that was the only time it was community based.
Oh, okay.
To me, the whole thing felt social. Like it just felt like part of the experience that you talk to people. Like when the first night, like that we went to the Haunted Mansion bar, which I think was our second night on the ship or maybe even the first night on the ship. And they sat Wanda and Harrison with us. And like, I think at that moment I realized, oh, like you are around people.
You're right.
Like a lot. Yeah.
Even in our muster drill, when we were sitting with the family from Kentucky and their like 8-year-old talked to us the whole time.
Yeah, and then later we saw the guy and we were like, Kentucky, and he was like, New York. I didn't expect that part of cruising at all. We're both introverts. We're like outgoing introverts. We're introverts in the sense that like socializing drains us. So we get really tired and have to like recharge.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect that part of the cruise, A, and B, I didn't expect to like it so much.
Yeah.
I loved being around that many people. I loved the people we dined with, Emily and Tim and Caitlin and Kyle. We love you. We got so lucky with the group that we were with that we got to have dinner with every night. And then like, we would run into each other on the ship through the day. And like, we went to the Haunted Mansion bar with Caitlin and Kyle one night, and Caitlin had cruised a lot before all of us.
Yeah,
so
Caitlin
she was like our
cruise guru.
She was our guide. Like she told us so much stuff that we didn't know.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved that part the most.
I did too.
And I missed that part the most. It makes me sad to know that if we ever go on a cruise again, which we will, we're not going to be not just with the other 4 people we dined with, but just like everybody. Like it's the beautiful part of an experience like that where never again will this group of people be together in this place for this experience.
Yeah.
It's like the bittersweet part of it.
Something special about that.
Yeah, I really loved it. And hi guys, we miss you. We miss having dinner with you guys every night. And we're going to talk more about that on the next episode.
Yes.
So thanks for listening. Check us out at disneyforcouples.com. Go shopping for vinyl stickers inspired by Disney parks at magicalstickershop.com. And remember to stay young at heart like Walt would want.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.